friends, with over 40 years experience in law enforcement and 22 years as sheriff of Amherst County, welcome to the show, Mr. Jimmy Ayers.
It's very unfortunate that our senior citizens, especially those that live alone, they become victims because they're lonely.
Literally, America was scammed over 101,000 reports, $3.4 billion. That was in 2023, and we know we're even experiencing more than that now. So it is real.
You're amazing at calculating how long it should take an individual to go from spot A to spot B. It's incredible. She's like, are you there yet? I'm like, yeah, I just pulled in. How did you know that?
If something were to go wrong, Jimmy, you guys can utilize that Life 360. You can see where that phone is pinging, and that's just kind of common sense.
Sure does. That's exactly right. To go get some ice cream.
Yeah. And it's so exciting to be a part of.
It'd be amazing.
It really is.
It's one of the biggest things I think we've learned.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the show today. We're excited for you to be here. We have a great guest, but you know the drill. Grab your favorite cup of coffee and pull up a seat and join us right here on Around the Table with Vickie. I'm your co-host, Chris Runk, and to my left, as always, is my mother, your host, and we're all here around her table, Vickie Runk.
Hello, friends. It's great to be here today.
And Mom, like I said, we have a great show. I think a lot of folks are going to really enjoy the information. I think it's on the forefront with what is happening in the world right now, on the forefront of a lot of specifically seniors' minds. And we're happy to bring just some education.
Right. So I had the idea that what was going on in the Nancy Guthrie case, which we pray daily that she is brought back safely, that we should bring our friend, Sheriff Jimmy Ayers of Amherst, with us today to talk about some good information that we need to get in the ears and eyes of our listeners. I know for a fact that over the last 2 weeks since this case has been made to the public, that I've had a lot of people stop me that are seniors and saying, you know, how can I be assured that I'm safe at home? We've even talked about some placements because we have security in our senior living communities. And so we thought, let's talk about some things that we need to put out there for those that are still living at home, that are seniors. So let's introduce our guest.
Well, if anybody would know those answers to those important questions, with over 40 years experience in law enforcement and 22 years as sheriff of Amherst County, welcome to the show, Mr. Jimmy Ayers.
Thank you, Vickie, and thank you, Chris. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. I appreciate the invite, and it's a topic that is very near and dear to my heart because there's two sectors of our society that is vulnerable, and that is our senior citizens and our children. So any discussions that we can have here today to educate the seniors in our communities about what they're facing in many different ways, it's great to be here.
Well, when I think about Amherst County, Jimmy, I think that there's just so much great people that live in that county that have poured themselves into that community. I know from just being there myself over time that some of the greatest people I've met. And that, having said that, though, so many of them do stay at home when they become senior, when they become a senior, and they just don't want to leave home. And there's not a lot of care communities out in the county. And so having to come across the bridge to one of the care communities seems a bit like going to Egypt for them. And we've talked about that through time. But one of the things I want to talk about today is how can they stay safe in their own environment without uprooting them only for the cause of fear. And I think our seniors need to live peaceably. They don't need to fear that somebody's going to be at that door. They don't need to worry that somebody's going to barge in. So let's talk about some things that are very easily put in place that can secure their homes. What about lighting? What about security systems? What can we talk about with that?
Absolutely, is to secure their environment, and you're correct. As we age, I spent 62, soon to be 63 years of my life in Amherst County, so that community is extremely special to me, and unfortunately, in the nature of the beast and our business, we deal with a lot of times seniors that have become victims in different ways, either being through break-ins in their home or scams or whatever it may be. But the protection or their environment they live in is extremely important, and lighting, good lighting, exterior needs to be in place for them. Today's ability to have cameras placed on your home or even just doorbell cameras is extremely important to have your exterior doors double bolted, deadbolt, and the doorknob double locked. Basically, is what we say is extremely important for our seniors to have their home secure. And the other side of that is to know not, unless they know who is on the other side of that door, is not to open that door until the person on the other side can be identified. So, the manicuring, keeping tall shrubs around their home, keep that trim so that when they look out the window or look out the door, they can see and it doesn't create an environment for the undesirable individual to hide in. So good lighting, manicured shrubs around their home, and any cameras that could be placed on their home that would provide the surveillance that they need is a good option for seniors today.
And I would encourage all of our listeners right now to take Jimmy's information and put it to use right now. Don't wait. Don't say I'm going to do it tomorrow. Don't say I can't afford it. There's always the little boy down the street that'll install a camera. Believe you me, these kids know more about how to install these things than you and I could ever know. There's also home security systems, ADT, that you can call and they'll come out, and for a fee they'll implant all these different alarms, and you can learn how to use them. And if something goes wrong, those alarms go straight to that company's precinct, and then they alert you guys to go out and check the property. It is never too late to be safe. And I know I've had a burden for this ever since I've watched this on the news, and we don't know how it's going to turn out. But when I look at this, I think there's several things that I would like to bring to light to people, because we could save someone's life. We could save someone from having to go through this kind of torture, because as you're watching it play out, there's no greater fear than not to know where your loved one is. And you see this every day.
Absolutely.
With what you do. And I think with seniors, they're just a target. Somebody's watching that home. They know you may not come and go a lot. They know your schedule, and they really just might want to get in and take your things. It's not necessarily always about bodily harm, but as we've seen, things can go wrong whenever that intruder could be wrong about your schedule. So we want to make sure that our seniors are being kept informed and that they're safe. Let's talk about scams. We were talking before the show started, and I could see the passion in your eyes, and I know how passionate you are about protecting the most vulnerable. Talk to us and be very honest with our listeners about what's going on with scams.
Scams are probably one of the hottest topics right now, or not topics, but hottest crimes that are facing seniors today. There are individuals, and a lot of times even in other countries, that are targeting our seniors in the United States through computers, through cell phones, through electronic devices. And I know I myself, when it comes to computers and cell phones, I'm not tech savvy as the younger generation's coming along. And a lot of our seniors, they feel bad about this. They enjoy using the computer. They have their Facebook, and they have different things that they do on the computer or the cell phone. But like myself, I'm not tech savvy as a younger generation, because it's part of the younger generation's lifestyle as they come along. It was not part of mine, and most of our seniors, it was not part of their lives. So they become easy targets, because a lot of times when these individuals prey on us seniors, they send up pop-ups in their Microsoft or whatever they may send up on the screen of the computer as our senior may be using the computer, and then the senior citizen immediately becomes, especially when they start scaring them, telling them that, their accounts may be compromised, or you need to do this, or let us know this because your Microsoft is getting ready to crash. They have many ways to mislead that population into giving account numbers, or it's gotten to the point now that they actually have the seniors go outside of the home and purchase gift cards, and then bring them back and scratch off the ID codes on these, and just give thousands upon thousands of dollars away. Or
in fact, in Amherst County, it's been millions, correct?
Yes, we've had several cases here. Not several, but one in particular I know that it was a couple $1 million over several months. that an individual lost, because he had become part of a scam. And once they make that first give or deposit into it, or whether they take money and go to a Bitcoin machine and deposit money, then it's almost like they're hooked. And then they come back and they're directed to do something else, do something more. Well, you'll get this back and this much more if you do this. So once they start losing their lifetime savings, it becomes a struggle for them trying to get it back. And they're persuaded by these individuals to do more depositing of money in order to get it back. Well, you've got to do this in order for this to come back. And it's an ongoing thing. And before they realize it, a lot of times their total life savings is gone in a matter of a little while.
And that's sad to me because our seniors are the most trusting.
Correct. And they came from an era when you were able, a handshake was your bond.
Right.
And by no means is that the way it is today.
No.
And that is so bad because their perception of individuals is still in the same mindset that as they grew up, and they feel the same way, but by no means.
It's a different America.
Correct.
And I was just noticing in some of my research that in 2023, literally America was scammed over 101,000 reports, and it equaled $3.4 billion. That was in 2023, and we know we're even experiencing more than that now. So it is real. Christopher, you had something you wanted to bring in too.
On that same stat there, the average case was they lost $34,000 back in 2023.
This is really real to you and
per user. And you mentioned that our seniors are so trusting. And a lot of time, Jimmy, I know you know better than I do, but these scams are directed towards somebody that maybe they're saying that their grandchild may not get care if they can't get this amount of money, or they have a terminal disease. And a lot of these come through phishing emails or through text messages. I think it's probably safe to say, Jimmy, nobody should really be clicking on links within a text message from if it's an unknown number and you don't have a contact in your phone for that person and know that number, in my opinion, should just get immediately blocked. Is that safe to say?
Absolutely. And I do that myself.
Yeah.
I receive many of them every day. If I don't recognize, it doesn't pop up in my contacts, or the number I do not recognize, I do not answer it and immediately block it and delete it.
I mean, I know us personally, Mom, I've gotten, I don't know, countless. It seems like there was some kind of data breach. I don't know from where here in the last week, because my phone number has just gotten blown up.
So if you're a senior and you're listening to this, I know a lot of our senior citizens in our care communities watch this show. You need to have someone show you how to, once that phone call comes through, how you can go and actually block it, but you can also report it as spam, and that will keep that caller from being able to get back to you. As of right now, we know that technology changes all the time, so you have to be up on that, but our administrators are trained to stop and help our seniors with their cell phones and to help them. You kind of dissect what's good, what's bad. So if you have questions, reach out to someone in your family. If you're in a care community, reach out to an administrator and get some education on this, because it literally could mean your life savings, and we've seen that happen.
And
absolutely,
specifically in numbers, I read an interesting tidbit of information the other day that I really didn't think about, was that if you, because sometimes I know some seniors like to argue with those advertising callers, right? They get on there and they just like, well, why are you calling me? And they just have a conversation just to be a little ornery.
You have a papa that loves to do that.
I wasn't going to call anybody out, but my grandfather might be one of those people. And it's best to actually let that phone ring completely out. Do not engage with it. Don't ignore it. Don't cancel it. Because what you're doing when you do cancel it, you're showing that phone number is actually an active line, and there is a human on the end of it. And that's what a lot of these agencies that are just blasting your phone is looking for. Does it end early? So I thought that was kind of interesting. Let it ring out and then block it.
Right. We're continuing talking about being able to help our seniors in our communities live independently. As a police force that you look after every day, all day. There's never any time off. What do you instruct your deputies to look for whenever you're going to an in-home case that may have been reported for theft or abuse? What are your officers looking for at that moment?
If the victim is a senior citizen, obviously, as the deputy or deputies arrive there and go into the home, we do a picture of the overall environment of that individual. Do they live alone? Do they have a daily contact? What type of medical conditions they're on? As far as family, or, some of our seniors, they don't have any family. They have, family before them has passed on, and they really have no family. So if they become victim of a crime, be it a scam or someone has broken into something, or a lot of times we run into it, they will have people come to their home to do work,
Yes.
and they get scammed that way. An individual portrays himself to be doing something, and they get to the home, and we had one yesterday. It didn't happen in our county, one of our adjoining counties. A lady wrote a check for $117,000 for some work to be done on the driveway, and the work was never done. The individual took the check and within a few minutes was gone. But I don't recall whether it was either she or the neighbor happened to get a tag number on the truck that was in the driveway. And actually, one of our guys, once the information came to us, we were able to put it into what we call a flock camera system, and we were able to track the truck was in Petersburg at that time. So, that's a big scam. These people will prey on their seniors. Just pull up in the driveway, your driveway's cracked, and if you don't do this, or notice the roof on your house, the shingles are bad, and never take anyone at their word. If you don't know that individual, you make sure that you contact someone that is close to you, that you can know is trustworthy, that will lead you in the right direction to see if what you're being told is correct, and never pull out a checkbook, never pull out cash in front of a total stranger to pay for anything. But going back to is our deputies, and if we find that individual's living alone and they're a risk to their own selves, and there immediately is to call Adult Protective Services and have them have a worker come out and interview the individual and see if there are services available, or do what we can to make sure that if that individual is a victim, they will not become a victim again.
That's right. I was also reading that over 60% of these scams that happens sometimes are direct family members and people that you know. So it is so important not to show money out in public, not to get personal information down at the beauty shop or down at the coffee shop, to protect your identity as much as possible. But again, we're living in that world where this age group still feels like they can leave their doors unlocked and nothing's ever going to happen. And it's up to us to educate them that the world has changed since back in the 50s and continues to change. And also, if you're a family member and you're having a difficult time with your mom or dad that's still living at home, I think it's safe to say that you could reach out to the sheriff's department and get a little bit of reinforcement, even if you just have an officer come out and just explain how important it is for them to be careful and to make sure that the alarms are where I'm sure your guys wouldn't even mind to, if it's a critical situation, to make sure that the alarms and everything are working. Fire alarms, that can go through the fire department. They'll come out and look at your fire department, all your fire alarms. These are just life safety things that we want to talk about today. We just went through a major snowstorm. The importance of making sure mom and dad is prepared for that emergency preparedness stuff. You got to have food.
If the power goes out.
And if your mom or dad is a little confused and they say, oh, we're not going to get no storm, then you need to go and make sure that there's food in the house or remove them for a few days. Right. These are all things that community relations, sheriff's department, fire department can work together on.
Absolutely. And we actually offer a program that's called Project Lifeline to our seniors in our community that we will send a young man, our IT guy, in our agency will come out and place a pendant in the home for the folks that live alone, that don't have daily contacts, and they will have the ability to press that button if they fall and don't have the cell phone with them. I had a situation some years ago where a lady I'd known for many, many years that it was during cold weather, and she had gone out to go to the store or whatever, and met a friend for lunch, and then said she was going to the store. And anyway, she lived alone, didn't have really a daily contact. And that night, the friend that she'd had lunch with tried to reach out and get her on the phone that night, and she didn't answer, but she didn't think a lot about it. And so the next morning, she tried again and couldn't get her. She went to her home, and the lady had fallen between her car and the home. And obviously, she had struggled trying to get back. When she got back to the car, she realized we found that she had locked the keys to her house in the car, and the car was locked. She ended up passing away there between the car and the house from hypothermia. And when that happened, that's what said, we have got to do something to provide but a pendant or something, and that's when I started the Project Lifeline. So we do that for our seniors in our community if they live alone, to have that pendant. The main thing is they wear it.
Yes.
Don't place it on the shelf and that's where it stays. It can be worn as a bracelet. It can be worn as a necklace. And if you fall in your home or anywhere in the yard, if you're out walking, as long as you stay within, I think it's 225 feet of the main base station, that it will call dispatch if you need services. So,
and how do they get in touch with you?
They just call the sheriff's office number at 946-9381 and leave their name, and Mike will be in touch with them to make arrangements to get it set up.
That's wonderful.
That's fantastic. The peace of mind that I would think that would provide for anybody that
even
needs
if you're a neighbor, if your neighbor doesn't have any family and you're starting to see these kinds of things, call the sheriff's department and see what kind of services that they can set up. I mean, that's a perfect way to keep them at home safe.
And not only does it do that, is when we provide this service for individuals, we have a form that is filled out the day we place it in their home that gives any medical conditions they have, the family or first in contact, who we can contact, and the actual pendant will dial us first, and then it automatically dials the second on the list if they have additional persons, such as a child or grandchild, that they want called. So it also comes up when that call comes into dispatch center. It's already a premise on that call and that address that they are a recipient of the Project Lifeline. So the dispatch has in front of them any medical conditions this person may have, who they need to contact, or the information that we need to get that person taken care of. So, that's in our community. I can't speak to any others, but I know that is a service that we provide and is available to communities, to our citizens in our community. And you can purchase these online as well. Set them up in your own home, and they'll dial the communication center that provides the services to your community as well. So I strongly encourage those to be used if you live alone and you don't have a daily contact. That way, it's always a line of communication. If you continue, that you will remember to wear that pendant or keep it where you can get your hands on it when needed.
Let's talk about safety with Uber drivers, DoorDash, delivery services. What would you say to an elderly woman living at home? Like, how much is too much information to give out at that door? Because you and I both know these women love to talk. And if somebody's going to stand at the door and talk to them a little while, she's going to tell them how many children she has, how long she's lived alone, and what time she goes to bed at night. How do we protect that?
It's very unfortunate that our senior citizens, especially those that live alone, they become victims because they're lonely.
That's right.
And it's quite sad. Anyone that will spend 5 minutes to talk to them when they've been in their home days without a contact, that's when they become a victim, because there are perpetrators that are out there that victimize people based on just the individual wanting the ability to communicate with someone. So if they've utilized Uber or they've utilized DoorDash or these services that will deliver food to them or whatever, it is sad that they want to talk to someone so bad that they will open a door, they will offer a cash tip to an individual or whatever. That is something that they should not do. They should never display a checkbook. They should never display cash. If they use these services and they've used them through an app, any monetary transmission should be done through that app and that app only. Because if an individual we never know who these drivers are. We want to take them at face value that they're of the utmost integrity and are going to do what they're supposed to do and do the right thing all the time, even when no one's looking. But that's very not likely to happen. So that's one of the biggest things. If you use these delivery services in any way, or an Uber driver, is to do not become over-friendly with these folks. Deliver the information that you need. Only and like I said, let it go through the app if that's what you're using to get it. If a Uber driver picks you up, always get in the rear seat of that vehicle. Never get in the front seat. Even if you're encouraged to, just say, I prefer to ride in the back. And just be attentive of everything around you when you go. But the main thing is, don't become over-friendly with these individuals that you do not know.
I think it's good to also tell a friend where you're going.
Absolutely. Friend or family, let them know if you're utilizing Uber, or if you're leaving your home, going somewhere, if you've reached the point you're not driving, or for whatever reason you're using a cab or driver service, is let someone know where you're going and how you're getting there.
Another thing that we love so much
I know exactly where you're going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not always successful with my own family members, but what I love so much about carrying a cell phone, and some seniors don't carry a cell phone. I'm going to encourage you to do that today. But there are apps on those phones, Life 360, that you can tell someone that you're super close with, I'm going to give you you're going to know where I am at all times. And you have that person that's going to help take care of you. And if something were to go wrong, Jimmy, you guys can utilize that Life 360. You can see where that phone is pinging. And that's just kind of common sense.
Absolutely. In the cell phone world today, that is one of the main targets that we look for as a victim of crime. Did they have a cell phone? And it's amazing the data that can be retrieved from an individual cell phone. However, as you said, it's something that can be used, if that person keeps it on their person, whether it's the 360 tracking or just the phone itself. A lot of times, as long as you've got it on your person and you've got the phone on, we have the ability to do what we need to do to find out where that phone is.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's just an extra layer of security. And I know, like with my own family members, they'll say, well, that's an invasion on my privacy. Well, no, it's just because I love you and I want to keep up with you. And we talk a lot about, these sons and daughters that are adult sons and daughters of these senior citizens. And this is something that, as you're listening to me, you want to put in place for your mom and dad. Then you know that if you need to find them, you can, number one, look and see, is there a problem? Mm-hmm. It even tells you how long they've been somewhere.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I think that's the more important piece of it, is not so much within your own family.
Right.
You may have to set some family rules. I won't use that information that you were at a certain grocery store for that long and you told me. I won't use that against you. But the ability to geofence certain locations, such as your house. And I know sometimes, you're amazing at calculating how long it should take an individual to go from spot A to spot B. She's normally within a minute and a half. It's incredible. She's like, are you there yet? I'm like, yeah, I just pulled in. How did you know that? And she's got to calculate. But even having the ability to calculate how long it should take mom or dad, who, maybe they should or shouldn't be driving, and just the peace of mind, you're able to know and notify authorities or EMS if something were to go wrong. And although that information,
lots of times those apps can alert you when there's a crash as well.
Crash detection. You talk about fall detection. I know a lot of the newer phones and iWatches have fall detection, and a lot of great information has come out about saving individuals who maybe would just be found in the floor if that kind of information didn't go out. So as much as we sometimes seniors are against technology, and I don't want all that information out there, and I don't want to fool with it, and I don't want all the apps, I think as even speaking to my generation as a younger generation, to come in and provide support, talk to your kids or your grandkids. Most of the times they're using all these same apps. They're setting up internets inside of the home. They're able to connect cameras for you, either wired or wirelessly. So, Jimmy, cameras are super important right now. Where are some of the top spots, such as a driveway, a front door, that you would see to be, I need to make sure I get those areas covered around the home?
Number one is your ingress, egress points, your doorways. Cameras need to be positioned so that they see anyone that comes up or exits your home. That's number one. Secondly, if you have the ability to position a camera that can see any ingress, egress to your driveway. And then the other is the four corners of your home.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a 360 degrees around your house of anyone that may walk up or doing anything around your home. So one is your doorways, have cameras there. Secondly, the point of ingress, egress through a driveway or driveways. And then thirdly is all the four corners of your home. So you get total coverage around your entire home.
Well, I think we covered a lot of great
We did.
information today.
Yes.
Jimmy, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you all for having me.
I think that was an important discussion, important topics. But without further ado, sadly, we're out of time. Mom, I know you like to end each show with a quote, so the floor is yours.
I thought, in the spirit of reaching across the aisle, which more of our leaders should be doing, especially today, I'd use this quote: "A nation is judged by how it treats its most vulnerable, and that includes the men and women who built the world that we enjoy. Protecting our seniors is not just our responsibility or a policy. It's measured by character as a people." And it was written by Barack Obama. So just remember, safety isn't about fear. It's about preparation and wisdom. And our seniors deserve to live confidently and securely in their own environment. Thank you, Jimmy.
Thank you,
Until
Vickie.
next week, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Vickie, and we're right here around the table.